All right. It is the Big E, Eric Arnold here in the sports barn, the MLB barn, Saturday morning, the 11th of June. Well, we're starting to square the ball up here in the barn. We lost on Thursday. That was the last public pick we had. Last night, though, we took 4 or 5, unbeknownst to you. Sorry, but picks are going on sometimes, and the videos sometimes don't catch up with all the picks. So we'll do the best we can, but our public record, 6.2 units to the good, and our total record, not that I have proof of this, that I could show you that you would believe, is a little better than that. So we're feeling okay right now. We're feeling good. We have 5 picks for you here on Saturday. This is the weekend. Barn makes money on the weekends. That's how we do it. We make the model works on the weekend, so it's the weekend, so let's work. We got a trivia question for you. We'll leave that for the end of the show, and let's get to it. Let's get right into it here. Our previous trivia question, congratulations to Sam Petty, who did remember that July 12th, 1979 in Chicago was Disco Demolition Night. Organized, I think it was mostly organized by Mike Veck, who was Bill Veck's son. Bill Veck was the owner. Bill Veck was quite the innovator, maverick, whatever adjective you want to use. The man that famously sent a midget up the bat in 1951. So this was every night that you have at the ballpark now, bobblehead doll night and ladies night and all that stuff, all stems from Bill Veck. He was the man. I think he's in the Hall of Fame. If he isn't, it's one of the biggest oversights in the history of baseball. He certainly belongs in the Hall of Fame. But that was what went on there. Of course, then there was a full-on riot. In between games, they blew up these disco records because apparently there was this... I don't recall it that way. I was a child in the 70s. I know there were a lot of people that didn't like disco, and there were people that liked disco. To hear Wikipedia tell it, there were undertones of, homophobia and racism in the people that didn't like disco. Really? I mean, really? Maybe they just didn't like that kind of dance music. Maybe they liked rock and roll. Do you have to be a bigot and a racist to hate disco? Apparently, according to Wikipedia now, yes, you do. So, unbelievable. You can't, this is back to my point. Politics is in everything. So, they blew these records up on the field in between games of the doubleheader, and then they stormed the field. My wife said, "Why'd they do that?" And I didn't have a good answer for that. It's like, well, why did they do that? I guess the answer is because they could. Because they could. They just, you got 55,000 people there and the security's pretty light. Hell, let's charge the field. And I do what? I don't know. But they caused such a mess, they had to forfeit the second game. And Bill Veck, I think, this was his son's idea, and Veck Bill Veck saw this coming. He, according to what I read, that he kind of had a feeling that this is going to go south. This probably is not a great idea. And sure enough, it did. And they had to forfeit the second game. But went down in baseball history. So we'll always remember Disco Demolition Night. All right, let's demolish our bookies, right? Let's do that. What are we going to get here? Let's see, pull that up there. Well, we're going to try again with these White Sox. We probably would have got home with these guys. I mean, Thursday, I don't know, the game was on national television, and White Sox open up 4-0, and I'm feeling pretty good. It's like, man, I'm hot. Anything I touch right now turns to gold. This is great. And then Dylan Cease couldn't get anybody out, and the Dodgers just jumped right back on top of them, and I shut it off before the infamous intentional walk where Tony La Russa, sometimes you forget, and the White Sox, I forgot La Russa's the manager, and he's an idiot. He's just a moron who's so overrated, and worse yet, he's made innovations in this game that have hurt the game. His incessant changing of pitchers, and if you want to lay the 4-hour game at the feet of somebody, probably La Russa would be in that list of people. So he makes the brain surgeon decision to walk a guy on a 1-2 count. I didn't research this. I mean, one, how did it get to be a 1-2 count? I mean, the guy must have pitched to him, right? He must have started pitching to him, got 2 strikes on him, then threw a ball, and now suddenly you don't want to pitch to him? What? That's about as dumb as it gets. I mean, it's okay to pitch to him 0-2, but you don't want to pitch to him 1-2? Come on. I mean, that's just idiotic. You get 2 strikes on a batter. The 2-strike average in the majors is, I'm going to guess, pretty low, around, 200, 220 maybe, tops. I bet it's around 200, maybe less. And so you're saying that you'd rather have Muncy up there, left on left, with a fresh 0-0 count rather than trying to finish off a 2-strike batter? A 2-strike, you throw one 6 inches off the corner and the umpire makes a mistake. Boom, you're out. That's what could happen. You get 2 strikes. It's just a stupid decision. And what's even funnier is watching La Russa try to justify it. It's like, you really are a moron, aren't you? You really think you did the right thing. You're a fool. So, we got the White Sox are hamstrung with that. Nevertheless, we're going to come back with them here today, Saturday. I don't know. This we're not wild about this one. We might be stretching a little bit. We might be feeling our oats a little bit. But it is a good spot for the White Sox. They're kind of, this is about time. If that team with all their talent is ever going to catch a wave, now is the time. Now is absolutely the time. So they're probably better than the Rangers. I'm going to have to sneeze here. I can feel it coming on. The pollen here in the barn is overwhelming. But where were we? White Sox, Rangers. We're not crazy about Giolito. He's always had a phobia about day games at home. I think he's somewhat over it. His performance in the past year has been acceptable. Martin Perez has been the Rangers' best pitcher. But all this kind of leads back to we're getting a relatively cheap price here. So, yeah, it's like, I'm giving you the Rangers case. Well, this is a cheap price. Minus 140 for a team that we're pretty sure is better than the other team. And we're at home. And all we're laying is 140. I think we can go ahead here with the White Sox. Plus the way the game ended last night, where the White Sox and Rangers were slugging it out, close game, back and forth, anybody's game. 8th inning, Rangers in the field, 1 out, 2 outs. Guy hits a little dribbler back to the mound, and they fuck it up. Nobody on base, 2 outs. They got the 3rd out in their hands, and they fuck it up. And now the roof caves in. The 5-run score with 2 outs in the 8th inning, and the Rangers should have been through to the 9th inning tied with a chance for anything to happen. And the roof caved in the bottom of the 8th inning because they couldn't execute a simple pitcher covers first base play. So I think that's got to hang over them, and we're looking for the White Sox to continue with the momentum here this afternoon. Did you see that Jack Del Rio, defensive coordinator for the Washington, what are they calling themselves now? The Redskins, what are they calling themselves? Are they the Commandos? The Washington Commandos? What? Oh, the Commanders. Well, whatever. They're not good enough to pay attention to or know what their name is. But I saw they fined, I guess the team fined Del Rio $100,000. It wasn't the NFL, I don't think. I think it was the team, Daniel Fool Snyder, because Del Rio made the mistake of speaking like a Republican, where I guess he expressed the opinion that the January 6th riot was comparable to the Black Lives Matter riots in the summer of 20 and what have you. Oh, well, I guess that's right out apparently in today's NFL. So for expressing his Republican opinion, $100,000 fine. Interesting. Once again, politics permeates everything, including sports. And apparently the club owners and the NFL is controlled, apparently, solely by the Democrats. If expressing that kind of an opinion gets you a $100,000 fine. So, good job, Jack. I mean, you outed your owner as a complete communist, but I guess we knew he was a fool. I didn't know he was a communist. They're not necessarily synonymous, but apparently Daniel Snyder's both. So, there you have that. All right, number next. We're going to go here. We're going to stick our wanger in a hornet's nest here. We're going to take the Phillies. I am nervous about this game because the price is high. And the Phillies have won, 8 in a row? They can't lose right now. Everything is going right for this team. And they've got their best pitcher on the mound. They've had good success against Madison Bumgarner. 215. The price is high, but the Phillies are hot, and they're swinging the bats, and they're scoring runs, and some of these games have been close. So that's why we're gonna pay up. We're not gonna cheat. We're not gonna take the run line. We're gonna pay up here, and maybe this ends up being one of these one-run walk-off deals, and everybody goes crazy, just like what happened last weekend or something. So, like I said, the Phillies are just jumping out early. They're hitting home runs. They're really playing. They're playing pretty good baseball. They are really playing pretty good baseball at the moment. So I'm a little nervous, but we're going to go with that. The model likes this game. And the only thing that's making me nervous is probably my own bias that I think the Phillies suck. So that's the only thing that's holding us back. So we're going to go ahead, just going to kind of jump in there and not worry about it. Let's see. Now, I saw this. I had to say something about this. Apparently, let me find it. Oh, of course, I can't find it now. That figures. It's here somewhere. There it is. Apparently, Joe Biden talked yesterday and blamed, I believe, shipping companies now for inflation. So this is from Zero Hedge. They now believe that the definitive list of people or things responsible for inflation are Vladimir Putin. This is according to Joe Biden. According to Joe Biden, Vladimir Putin, climate change, oil companies, profiteering corporations, the Fed, and now shipping companies. That's everybody responsible for inflation. Notice who's not on that list. On behalf of small trucking companies, which I believe I am somewhat of a part of that industry, I would like to say to Joe Biden, go fuck yourself, buddy. What an asshole this guy is. What a piece of shit. Of course, what has caused inflation is Joe Biden turning off the domestic oil and gas tap, locking down the United States economy for well over a year, when there was no need to, when it was foolish to do so, but he did it anyway. And then stupidly, completely foolishly spending money that he doesn't have. Just running the printing press 24/7, dumping money into the economy for any number of foolish, stupid things that we don't need to spend on. Not the least of which is an idiotic war half a world away. All of which you can lay at the feet of Joe Biden and the Democrats. So go fuck yourself, Joe Biden. Man making me poor or trying to make me poor and then blaming it on me. I'm sorry, that was just a sore spot for me. Paying $5 for a gallon of gas, a gallon of milk, a pound of ground beef. I'm getting tired of it. Getting tired of it. And then to have Joe Biden lie to me just annoys me. It really does. Number next, where were we? We were on game 2. Okay, game 3. We're going to come back with the Royals. We won with them last night. That was a nice, easy win for them. The Royals have a lot of... All right, I almost said they had a lot of talent. That's not true. They have some good players. They haven't played well so far this year. They're underachieving. But some of these guys are not terrible. I mean, they're pretty good players, and they just have played like shit. Whit Merrifield, Salvador Perez. I watched the highlights of their game last night. I think these guys are starting to swing the bats. Perez looked good last night. In other words, he's done absolutely nothing this year. He hit 48 home runs last year, and this year I think he has 2. You know, I'm exaggerating, but he doesn't have many more than 2. And he looked good. You know, he made a great play from behind the plate. So I'm thinking he looks athletic. He looks healthy. He hit a home run. I think he hit a double in the gap. So that guy's swinging the bat. The Royals are a much better team. If they get Merrifield, Benintendi swinging the bat a little bit, now suddenly they're not just dead. And maybe they can handle some of these not so good teams like the Orioles. So we're kind of thinking the Royals come right back with them. We're hoping Perez plays. You know, day game after night game. Perez, maybe they rest him. You know, this is but he's not a normal catcher. He's a guy that will catch in these situations, especially if he's feeling good, because he's the core of that team and he needs to be out there. And if the Royals are going to salvage any kind of season, in other words, something not totally embarrassing, then Perez needs to be out there now when he's feeling good and he's starting to hit. So we're going to guess that they're going to put him out there. We're certainly getting a lovely price here at basically even money. We're home. We're playing better than the Orioles. And even money, yeah, oh yeah, a lot of value there. All right, Athletics Guardians. We scored last night with the Guardians. Guardians of the Cuyahoga come through late to make our night. We'll come right back with them. Again, relatively short price here for a better team with momentum at home. I guess the odds are short here because everybody thinks Plesac sucks and Montas is good. I mean, I would equate them pretty equal. I don't know that Montas is all that much better than Plesac. Plesac hadn't pitched well this year, but he's had a half decent, at least one good outing in the last month or so. So I think he's getting a little better. But the Guardians are just a better team than the A's. They're just better. They have a better lineup. They have a better bullpen. They're at home. I was watching an MLB show on MLB Network of all things, and they had the odds to win the World Series. And the Indians are 100-1. And I thought, that could be worth a flyer there. 100-1 with the Indians starting pitching. You got Bieber up top, McKenzie, and then if you can get something out of these middle of the road guys like Plesac, he's young, he catches on a wave or something, and some of these young players the Guardians have start to round into shape, and you got an absolute superstar in Jose Ramirez. Wow, 100-1. Who knows? Who knows? I don't play futures, but that just jumped out at me. It's like that's the one team with the high odds that I could say that I could see that team emerging maybe. At any rate, we're going with the Guardians at 122. That's a bargain, total bargain. All right, last not least, this was one where it's like, well, I'm not even going to think about this one. I did, but we're going to play it anyway. The Cardinals over the Reds, the great Adam Wainwright, who does nothing but win. At minus 170, we caught it because we were up early. I would think that number is going to float upwards of minus 200 or whatever. But how do you know? I would not know this normally, but having friends that are Reds friends, I know that Tyler Stevenson is their best player, and he's hurt. He just got hurt. They don't have a replacement. That's got to hurt that team. Got to hurt that team. And they stank anyway. So not even, we're at home. The Cardinals, who I think is the best team in that division, is at home against a not very good divisional opponent, and the line is under 200 with what I would argue is the Cardinals' probably best pitcher. What? Oh, man. Value all over the place on this game. So you got to want this game. Got to want the Cardinals. All right, since we're talking about the Reds, I thought, well, trivia question. We got to give a trivia question. I know there are at least, hopefully, I'm not putting this Reds question out there and there are no Reds people watching, but the Reds in 1972 made the World Series. They made the World Series by defeating the Pittsburgh Pirates in 5 games, coming from behind in Game 5 at home to defeat the Pittsburgh Pirates. In the 9th inning, they were down 1 run, and they ended up winning by 1 run. Question. It's a 3-part question, so let's see who will go easiest to hardest. Somebody hit a home run in that 9th inning to tie the game. Who hit the home run to tie the game in Game 5 of the 1972 NLCS for the Cincinnati Reds? Who scored the game-winning run to put the Reds in the World Series in 1972? And who called the game on the radio for the Cincinnati Reds? Who was the Reds radio announcer in 1972 that called the game? So who hit the home run to tie the game? Who scored the game-winning run? And who was the Reds radio announcer in 1972? So there, that's your no help, no using the internet, of course. That's cheating. So whoever can come up with that, put it in the comments, and well, that and $1 will buy you a cup of coffee. Well, no, that and $1 will buy you, I don't know what $1 buys you anymore, frankly. Not much. Good. 5 picks. Let's get them. Let's get them. And we'll see. I don't know if we'll be a video tomorrow. Probably depends if we win today. You know, if I'm up, I'm jazzed, we're winning, you might get another video. If we lose today, then I'll be sad and probably the video won't happen. But what can I tell you? All right, good, thanks. Hey, hit the like button. Eric Arnold signing off.